Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Close Call. We've rated the show, or essentially we've given the show a proper name that it has always deserved. Luke has been on here for a while, so I figured it was time to give this thing a proper name as it should have. And so what we'll be doing here, just to give you all a little insight, is Luke and I will be talking college basketball and college football from here on out. This show will kind of shift around depending on the season. Let's face it, there's not much going on in the college football world right now, and college basketball is really starting to pick up. So that is indeed where our focus is going to be. But Luke, it's great to have you back on. It's been a couple weeks. Both of us have been grinding, but we're finally back. We're matching with the green, so let's do it.
How about that? Wasn't even coordinated, but I guess we both got some genius marketing minds here. Yeah, and what comes up in green in March? It's that St. Patrick's Day, and you better be wearing that green, and that's where we're headed because we're getting close to March Madness, Arch Madness. Conference play is really starting to heat up. I've
Oh
already
yeah.
seen a bunch of surprising results, and a lot of conferences are just a complete war zone right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how everything plays out in the season.
As far as surprising results, you can say that again. I mean, even just last night alone was unreal. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get into it a little bit here, but the Oklahoma State taking down BYU, Minnesota beating Michigan State, and all these teams I mentioned are teams we're going to be previewing for the weekend here. And then of course the granddaddy of them all, Gonzaga falling to Portland. I mean that was unbelievable. With that said, let's talk about that game. 87-80, the Portland Flyers win. They have a losing record on the season. Gonzaga was a 21.5 point underdog to win this game, and Portland pulls it off. I mean, what are your initial takeaways, and then what do you think that Gonzaga's course looks like down the stretch here?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to Gonzaga, for as great as they looked in the non-conference, I mean, their only loss was that drubbing against Michigan, which is very understandable considering how Michigan's played the rest of the season. But recently, Gonzaga's kind of been struggling a little bit. They seem like they've kind of hit a little bit of a lull, which I think naturally kind of happens for Gonzaga as they play in a conference where they're far superior than most of the opponents that they play. With that being said, um, there's no excuse for losing to this Portland team. Like you mentioned, 21 point underdogs. Um, Portland, they don't have a lot of size. They don't have a lot of shooting, and they shot incredibly efficient last night. Like I think they shot over 60% from the field and nearly 50% from three. And that doesn't mean that they weren't just hitting incredible shots and had great shot making. But if you're Gonzaga, there's a way to fix that. That shouldn't happen against the defense that we thought was one of the best in the country going moving forward out of the non-conference. So I mean, obviously Portland Foxwell's a great guard. He's been a bright spot for Portland, but this is a very lowly program, and this is a win. I want to say that might have been Portland's first ever win against a top 5, top 10 team or something like that. Yeah, it was shocking, but that's why we love college basketball.
Look, there's some nights, and it's very resemblant of what's about to come with
Yeah.
March Madness. But there's some nights where a team who may have a losing record, who may not have found much success in the current year, they just play out of their minds, and
Yeah.
that's what Portland did. I mean, there's and they had I said in a little short video I made this morning. They checked all the boxes when it comes to an upset, right?
Yeah.
They got up early. They shot out of their minds, and it felt like Gonzaga was playing catch up for this entire game. And Portland just kept hitting shots. It was like Gonzaga fell at the starting line at the sound of the gun, and they could just never make up that ground and catch up to Portland. And so you got to give your respect to Portland because they played a great game. But yeah, if you're if you're Gonzaga, it's this a loss like this isn't excusable, but this is a con to playing in the WCC. Like, it can be nice to stack up all those wins. It's beautiful for Gonzaga, but man, if you slip up once, it could be detrimental. Like the pressure is on. It's such a weird caveat because the pressure is on Gonzaga. Like, they cannot slip up. You cannot afford to slip up whatsoever. And when you're playing teams and you're constantly 18.5, 24.5, 21.5 point favorites, it's hard to keep focus over that whole stretch from January all the way into March. I mean, it's been the same thing with them the past 10, 15 years. It's save it all for St. Mary's. St. Mary's is the only team that's really going to come knocking on your door every time you play. And in over recent memory, Santa Clara has kind of.
Yes.
I will give Santa Clara their flowers. They've definitely ascended as a program recently, but Gonzaga cannot afford to slip up. They did last night, and now, I mean, you can't overreact either. It's a loss. You're gonna have those, but it's gonna all be based on how Gonzaga responds to this.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you kind of hit it on the head there with the with the WCC. I mean, it's usually Gonzaga and St. Mary's, and you know that those two are going to challenge for a title, and then you have a random third place team or a random team that just kind of is having a good year, whether or not it's Santa Clara, it's San Francisco. Recently, with the additions of Oregon State and Washington State to that conference, you never know how their teams are going to turn out. But I think in a way that this is going to be kind of good for Gonzaga. Gonzaga is going to be able to take this and realize, hey, we're not as good as we thought we were. And sometimes that's what a team needs. In terms of forecasting their bracketology, they were really challenging for a 1 seed. This is a quadrant 3 loss. They're lucky that they played this game on the road. I think that this pretty much all but ends their chances as a 1 seed, as they don't have enough quality wins on this, or they don't have enough quality opportunities on the schedule to really make up this ground. And I think that in a way it might be good for Gonzaga, but is this concerning for a Gonzaga fan considering all the times in March that you've kind of fell short when you probably shouldn't have? Absolutely, because it just looks like, it's just the same story over and over again, and you can't escape it. It's like that movie. I don't know exactly what it is, but that movie where maybe it's called Happy Death Day, where every single scenario is a different scenario, but it all ends with the girl or the guy dying. That's what I feel like is kind of happening to Gonzaga here.
I mean, either that or Groundhog Day. I mean,
yeah,
Groundhog Day is like wake up and it's the same thing every year. And Gonzaga, it's always felt like they have that ceiling on them in March Madness. When we've seen them get to Final Fours, we've seen them get to Natties, but they can never win that big game, and it feels like they fall short every time. And so this is timed perfectly. I mean, keep in mind this happened on February 4th. So
yeah,
if you're Mark Few from a coaching standpoint, yeah, it's an embarrassing pill to swallow, but you can clearly define this as your low point, and maybe it's the spark that Gonzaga needed to really reroute and find who you are, what your identity is as a basketball team, because like you had said, this team has all the potential in the world. We've seen the offensive firepower. We've seen how locked down they can be on defense. But I feel like there has been some lack of focus recently. And so times it takes falling short like this to just rekindle it. And so as far as timing goes, this has the potential to be really beneficial for Gonzaga down the line. The only real downfall is that it might have cost them their 1 seed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can have that loss and maintain a 1 seed. Like, even if they went out in the WCC, like, it's tough to. They might be able to get a 2. It's going to be tough to reclaim a 1, especially with your other teams out there.
Right. The quality of teams at the top are just are just really deep, and they have a lot more opportunity to improve their resume. And I mean, I think for Gonzaga, all you got to sit there and say is, if you're Mark Few, is there's never been a national champion on February 4th. Nobody wins the national championship on February 4th. We might be looking back at this Portland loss in a few months and being like, how in the world did the national champion Gonzaga Bulldogs lose to the Portland Pilots? But Will that happen? Only time will tell.
Hey, I mean, Notre Dame did lose to Northern Illinois last year in football and made the Natty, so
Yeah, I
crazier
mean,
things have happened.
it's
But
all about the draw, and in a way, maybe the 2 seed could be beneficial for them instead of the 1 seed. We'll see.
I mean, maybe they'll be in a different region that's
Yeah.
that's a lot easier. So this could end up working out if they play their cards right down the line. Um, Speaking of craziness, though, let's talk about Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks. What the
Oh
hell's going
yeah.
on? I mean, this team still hasn't lost a game this season.
I,
It's incredible.
I know, man, and I will say this. I'll preface it with this. I've been seeing a lot of videos from Miami, Ohio fans that said we are Miami University. We are not Miami of Ohio. We are not Miami, Ohio, whatnot. But we don't mind keeping Miami OH because we're 23 in OH. So they're fine with keeping it until they lose. But I mean, this team has everything, man. I will say they've been kind of counting their blessings recently. I think that they have kind of, slumped off a little bit. Obviously, a lot of teams have had game-winning shots, game-tying shots. They've had game-tying shots, game-winning shots against teams. A comeback against Kent State, incredible. Buffalo the other day had a three-pointer to take the lead to win on a buzzer beater. So they've slipped up a little bit, but it hasn't cost them. UMass even has been able to take them down to the wire. This is a team that's going to be a hard team to predict in March because I think the biggest knock on them is their strength of schedule. I do believe the MAC is one of the best group of 5 conferences, or however many, whatever you want to call it, mid-major conferences in all of college basketball. A lot of deep teams. They've already beat Akron. I would say that they're probably going to win the regular season title at the MAC, which would be extremely beneficial for them for their chances to make the NCAA tournament. With that being said, I'm not quite sure if they would be able to get in the tournament right now as an at-large without winning their conference tournament. So I think for Miami, Ohio, it's every single day is doomsday. You have to continue to win out. I think that if they finish the regular season 30-0, however many games it is, 29-0, then they absolutely should be in the field regardless. This is it's a very interesting team. Brent Byers, really really lengthy forward who can step out and shoot it. Everybody can shoot it. They have Elmore. They got Peter Suter, makes big shots time after time. And they even have a couple injuries, so this team is not even fully healthy. But this is the greatest start in a MAC conference team's history, and this is incredibly. This is by far the storyline of all of college basketball.
No, and it definitely has the potential to get controversial.
Yeah,
I can already see this thing starting to bake right now, because if they end the season and they only have one loss, and it's a MAC loss, and they somehow don't win the MAC championship, so that they finish the entire body of work with,
which is extremely plausible.
2 losses. It's very possible, because I do think, like you prefaced, with how close some of these games have been, I do think that a loss could be coming at some point when you continue to narrowly escape. I feel like it's looming at some point, and it might not be the worst possible thing for them.
Yeah,
but when it comes to getting that at-large bid, I mean, the NCAA wants to fill it up with as much Big 10, Big 12, SEC, and ACC teams as they possibly can. And if say UB, Cobb's UB Bulls win the MAC, and Miami, Ohio is sitting there with 2 losses, and you're comparing their resume with somebody like, say, Texas, who may be on the bubble.
right.
What are you gonna do? Yeah. Like that's where this has the potential to get fascinating.
And there's always teams like that. Because you're going to sit there and you're going to look at Miami, Ohio. You're going to say, who are their best wins? The committee has been shown that they look at better wins more than losses, like good losses recently. And that's kind of where the quadrant system comes into play.
Yeah.
I will say that Jerry Palm currently has Miami, Ohio as a 12 seed, playing the other great storyline of college basketball, the St. Louis Billikens. So what a game that would be. But I think that it is a positive sign for Miami, Ohio, that they're in the field as a 12 seed right now. And I think that, hopefully for them, I think that if you make it to the MAC championship and you lose there to say an Akron, a Kent State, a team like that we know has talent and is able to pick up big wins, it's going to be okay. I think a MAC championship loss, it's going to make you sweat a little bit. I think you'll get in, but we just got to let the season play out for these guys because this is truly not only the most inspiring but the most interesting run in college basketball right now when we think of all the possible scenarios that come out of it.
No, like it's this has the potential to be a story for years and something that may make us look different at Selection Sunday for years.
Yeah.
To like this could be one of those real driving force storylines. And I mean, some of their stats are unreal. Like they have over 90 points per game.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively,
they're efficient.
They're efficient. No, they're a great rebounding team as well. And one of their key strengths is they're great at ball movements. They're great at getting guys open. They take high percentage shots. They master the mid range, right? It's there's always I love my guy Steph Curry, but ever since he was popularized, everybody loves to live and die by that three ball. And Miami of Ohio is showing you that if you can master the fundamentals of knocking down mid range, it can take you a long way. And
Yeah.
I truly think that they can chip away at one of these Power Four teams in March Madness if they're able to hit those shots effectively and get spacing.
I'll tell you what, this is a team that, as an Alabama fan, I would not want to see, simply because they're comfortable playing at any pace. They've won games at slower paces. They've won games at faster paces. And like you mentioned, they're an analytically based team. But if you watch their offense, it's systematic. They have a system, but when that system breaks down, they have guys that are able to create their own shot and score at will. So this is a team that I would find very compelling and very daunting for any team in March. I mean, think about them in an 8-9 game. Usually in those 8-9 games, you have a team, a Power Four team that's kind of falling off a little bit, hadn't been playing their best basketball, but has a few big wins. A Miami Ohio team, who's going to be their Wally Schursbiak? That's all I got to say. He took him to the Sweet 16 in '98. We'll see if Miami can get back there.
That's a great pull, by the way. Yeah, but you know who would really hate to see Miami of Ohio? I feel like
Who?
Michigan State.
I agree.
The Sparty would hate to see the Red Hawks coming.
Yeah.
That has upset written all over. And remember Grand Canyon?
Yeah, I did not enjoy playing Grand Canyon. And interesting you said that because Michigan State is currently projected as a 4 seed according to Jerry Palm at CBS. And so they're 1 seed line away from dropping down into that Miami, Ohio territory.
You have to keep an eye on this. Could you look mark this on the 5th day of February? Us talking about this. We're gonna have to clip this.
We are gonna have to clip this because if this Michigan State Miami Ohio matchup comes out, I think that we're gonna have to side with the Red Hawks here, just out of a prediction standpoint.
I think we have to because Michigan State. I mean, they're one of those teams you always have to give them the nod. Like they're very well coached.
Izzo, man.
With Izzo, I mean, he always knows how to maximize a team. But I don't think this is one of his best teams. I don't think there's a lot of depth. I think there's a lot of question marks offensively, especially when there's no fears in play. Like I think that there's a lot of question marks.
I do think might be his best coaching job, though. And I don't think it's his best team, but I think that it might be his best coaching job. I've said that about Izzo. Maybe I say that about Izzo once every 3 years. So who really knows? But they're all great coaching jobs. But this is an incredible job he's done with his team.
I really think that he's maximized this team, and we're gonna get to our prediction with them in Illinois here in a few minutes. We're gonna segue into our Saturday slate of games. We're gonna go by time slot. So we're gonna start with Alabama and Auburn.
I love it, man.
This is let me tell you. So just to preface this, I was a Duke fan growing up, and I still am. But I went to the University of Alabama, spent 4 years there, got 2 degrees, and so naturally I'm indoctrinated into being an Alabama basketball fan as well. So, and both my teams have rivalry day on Saturday, hence the title, hence the thumbnail of this video. And let me tell you, going back to back 3 p.m. and then 5:30, I don't know if my heart can take it. I may have a damn heart attack on Saturday afternoon. We're going to start this thing at the barn at Neville, Alabama and Auburn. And Auburn is one of those teams where you never really know what you're going to get out of them. I mean, we've seen elite performances out of them, like we saw when they played Florida a few weeks ago down in the swamp, and then we've seen days where they just don't have an offensive identity at all. So I really don't know what we're going to get out of the Tigers on Saturday. Alabama, I think is really predictable. Play a fast-paced, high-tempo team. Not great defensively. I mean, you know that in most games they play in, they're going to allow north of 80 points.
Right.
But they're going to score a lot as well. I mean, they're a true live by the sword, die by the sword team. And so I think that this game for Auburn really comes down to their depth. How deep are they going to be? You know what you're going to get out of Pettiford, but how deep is Auburn going to be scoring wise? Because you can't go back, look at the box score of this game on Saturday and see single digits out of all of their starters. Everybody's got to contribute against Bama.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying here. Auburn is very wishy-washy. Obviously, we've seen everything under the sun from them, and I think that doesn't even apply to their season. It applies to them in game as well. They have some stretches where they look like king killers, and then they have some games or some parts of the game where they can't buy a bucket. I think we'll start with Auburn first. Obviously, Todd Pettiford is in a new role as the lead guard at Auburn. So he's been kind of navigating his way through creating offense for others and finding his own shot. He struggled with the outside shot a little bit this year, which has hurt Auburn in their offense because sometimes they need him to step up and make a big shot. When we look at Alabama, I think Pettiford is what makes Auburn go. If his shot's on Saturday, which because it's a rivalry game, I expect it to be. But he shot well against Alabama in his career. But I'll say with Alabama, obviously the Bediako stuff, don't know what's going on with that. But I don't think that really matters for Alabama. They have LeBaron Philon, who I still believe is maybe the best point guard in the country. I know that you have Darren Peterson at Kansas and all those stellar freshmen, Keaton Wagler at Illinois, but I think that LeBaron is going to be able to break down this Auburn defense and create shots for others. And I will say this about Auburn and Alabama when playing in the jungle. Through the Bruce Pearl era, it was almost known as impossible to beat Auburn in the jungle. It just didn't happen very much unless you were Alabama and Nate Oates. Alabama and Nate Oates, as an young Alabama fan, I believe we beat Auburn in the jungle once in my life, in my conscious basketball lifespan before Nate Oates got there. Beat him twice there. We beat him 3 times there that handily. I mean, even when we're not expected to, like last year. And so I think that this is a place where recently Nate Oates has found success in the jungle. And so for me, I think that, like you mentioned, teams going to score 80 points against Alabama. 1, because they can't rebound. Auburn's a pretty solid rebounding team. And 2, because they just play at such a fast pace. And the one thing about Alabama that Alabama does well is they don't turn the ball over a lot this year. Obviously, that didn't ring true against Florida. But that Florida defense is just something else, and those guys down low are just incredible. And I think that Auburn is a team that really thrives on forcing turnovers. And for me, I think that I might have a little bit of bias here, but I think that this might be the hottest rivalry in college basketball right now, based on the success between the past 2 years. And if you had told me that when I was 10 years old, I wouldn't believe you, because I watched games that ended in the 40s. So I will say I think that Alabama goes on the road and gets it done in a higher scoring game. I think it's going to make overtime could be on the horizon for these teams, and I feel bad for any Auburn fan watching it with me. But I'll give a little brief score prediction. I'll say around 91-87 Alabama. a couple clutch shots by LeBaron and Philon, a couple clutch threes by the Alabama team, and I think they limit their turnovers. So, but I do think Auburn punishes Alabama down low again.
It's funny. Our score prediction is like almost identical. Mine's 92 to 85.
Wow.
So
In favor of Alabama, right?
favor of Alabama. I'm rolling with the Tide. I think it's going to be imperative for Alabama in this game to get out front early so that they just kind of control the tempo in this game. Like I think that is the favorable flow for the Tide here. Make Auburn chase you this whole game, and if they can do that, make it a wild goose chase for War Eagle, then I think that Alabama is going to come out on top. But that's my gut feeling. I think that they'll do that, and so both of us are rolling with the Tide. That is one of my two rivalry games weekends. And now, this to me, I'm sorry, Luke, this will always be the golden rivalry, Tobacco Road. This gets me fired up. I've already had dreams about this game.
Man, I love this rivalry.
There's the history. I mean, Dean Smith, Coach K, Roy Williams. You name it. All the players throughout the years. Michael Jordan,
Christian
Jay
Laettner.
Williams, Christian Laettner. I mean, so
Austin Rivers, man. Like even like guys like that.
Don't even get me started about Austin Rivers. That guy. you want to talk a ball hog? Oh, when he was with Duke, I mean, he tried to force he single. I don't think there's any Duke player that single-handedly drove me more insane than Austin Rivers back in.
He would shoot you out of the game, but he would also make some big time shots.
He did have that buzzer beater back in 2012. I mean, I'm probably gonna post that clip here in a few days. But
does it make you mad that that's all he's remembered for? Instead of all the negative impacts he had on the game.
Well, and yeah, I mean, this is his best game, and then the season overall, like that moment was iconic. You'll remember that forever. But all we're remembered for in 2011 and into 12 is losing to Lehigh. Everything is overshadowed by the Lehigh loss. And oh yeah, he was a big factor in that too.
I remember exactly where I was when that game happened.
Oh, so do I. And
fifth grade math class, baby.
You're in fifth grade math class?
I was in fifth grade math class, checking it on the computer. Or I was sneaking my phone or something. I can't remember.
I was at my house and let me tell you, I had a temper tantrum. Styx wrote a song about me, the angry young man. I was an angry young 11-year-old man that afternoon throwing a freaking tantrum over Duke losing to Lehigh. But
that's how March Madness gets you.
Oh my God, and twice then Mercer, but that's besides the point. Duke and Lehigh. No. Excuse me. Duke and North Carolina here. Let's not bring back any bad memories. This is a really good matchup. This is a really definitive matchup here when it comes to both of these teams because they haven't faced much competition yet, ACC wise. I mean, Duke has a couple huge wins. They've got the Florida win, like that's massive, right? UNC got a big win over Virginia a few weeks ago in Charlottesville, and so we've seen what these teams are made of, right? And I think that there's a lot of potential there. I've seen a lot of growth in UNC from 2025 to this year. I think that this UNC team is a lot better. I think they're a lot balanced. I think they're a lot better at rebounding the football, rebounding the basketball. I think they're better when it comes to ball movement as well. They're just a more balanced team, got a good balance of veterans and young guys too. So, and I'm also a huge Caleb Wilson fan. I mean, that dude is an absolute dog. And so UNC is going to be bringing a huge attack here, and we're playing this in Chapel Hill. That's never favorable. That place is going to be absolutely rocking on Saturday afternoon to host the Blue Devils. But Duke is a team, like I feel like it's like guerrilla warfare when you play Duke because they just jump on your back and they don't get off. Like
sorry, I got a surprise visitor that just crept through the door. That's why I was distracted.
Oh no, you're good.
I'm listening though.
I mean, my door's closed, or the D-Dog would probably be coming in here as well. Or Kona, one or the other. But when it comes to Duke and UNC, Duke is
Maggie.
a team they jump on you fast and they attack, they swarm. That's just how they play. I mean, you've seen it the past 2 games. Boston College, Virginia Tech, they get up early, they establish a big lead, and then they maintain it. They are a hyper aggressive team. They're a very efficient shooting team as well. And Cameron Boozer has been one of the best freshmen in the nation. He's been a lot of fun to watch this year. He has lived up to all of the hype. And so UNC is a very button-up team from top to bottom, very fundamentally sound team. But I think that Duke is just coming at you with a little bit too much firepower on Saturday evening. I think that they're going to go into the Dean Smith Center and win this. I'm going with a Duke victory by the score of 78-71.
Yeah, I think that the big thing when we're looking at Duke and North Carolina is obviously the matchup of the star freshman. Maggie, stop. She agrees. She agrees. It's the star matchup of Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer. Those two are going to go at it all night, and obviously they're crucial for both their teams to win. When North Carolina suffered those losses on the West Coast trip, Caleb Williams, he played decently. He didn't play well. If you look at the SMU loss, he struggled a lot. And when you look at Duke and you see some of the struggles they've had, at times they haven't looked as great. It's Boozer that kind of struggles to get his offense going. In my opinion, Boozer is maybe the most all-around stellar big man in the country. I know that people are. It's going to be a war between the Carolina fans and the Duke fans arguing that all week. I'm sure it's already been going on for probably the whole season. But I look at Duke's defense, and I have a lot more faith in Duke's defense than I do in terms of guard play, perimeter defense, than I do North Carolina's. Obviously, you have Caleb Evans, slim. He can light that thing from deep. And Ngangba is also huge. I think that Ngangba and Vasar actually might be another matchup that we're going to have to watch because everybody's going the focus is going to be on the diaper dandies, as Dick Vitale likes to call them. But Vasar and Ngangba are equally as important when it comes to offensive rebounding and being lob threats for the guards when they penetrate. So, like you mentioned, I think that this Carolina team has showed a lot of growth. Obviously, the health of Seth Trimble has been something. He's still kind of working his way back into rhythm, and he's going to be crucial. So I think that I have a lot more faith in Duke and their ability to sustain their systematic play over 40 minutes than I do North Carolina. I've seen some rough stretches from North Carolina. Obviously, the end of that Syracuse game, up 32, and you let Syracuse come back and put it within 6. I just have a lot more faith in Duke than I do North Carolina, and I think that Duke gets it done. And I think that this is going to be a gritty game. This is going to be, as it always is, it's going to be a fight, a rock fight. And I'm going to say Duke wins this thing 70-65 over Carolina. A couple clutch shots in the end by Caleb Evans, a couple clutch threes, and Boozer. Boozer maybe shuts down Caleb Wilson, which I think that Caleb Wilson is exquisite, and he should be a top 5 pick. Without going without saying.
He has all my respects as far as being a complete basketball player goes, but as far as 5:30 p.m. on Saturday afternoon goes, he'll be public enemy number 1 for me.
Is Vitale calling that game?
I believe Dickie V's calling. He always calls this game, I feel like. Yeah,
it's good to see him back moving around again.
No, it is. I'm very like this. Dickie V has made this rivalry. Like his play calls, especially growing up watching those games in the 2000s. Like Dickie V just made those moments feel larger than life. So I believe he's in that crew, and if he is, I can't wait to watch and listen because he'll make the game just feel more grand per usual.
Absolutely.
All right, Michigan State and Illinois, and now I have a strong feeling about the way that this is going to go.
I do too. We might be on the same page.
I have a strong feeling about this. It's in East Lansing. Michigan State's got a lot of internal issues going on right now. There hasn't been any ruling on Jeremiah Fears for Saturday. I mean, we know the incident that happened last night with him.
Yeah, bad.
Kicking
The three incidents.
Yeah, no, he had the Michigan incident and this one last night with kicking a Minnesota player in the nutsack. I mean, that's never ideal.
And he got lucky. There's a lot of other plays in that game too that he got away with. Elbows to the face, trying to trip somebody again. I don't know what's going on with him.
Do you think he's a dirty player?
I think he's fallen into the Draymond Green category a little bit, where he might not be a dirty. I don't know if you consider Draymond dirty, then you might want to consider Jeremiah Fears dirty. If you think it's just hyper competitiveness, then Jeremiah Fears is just he's just hyper competitive. But I liked how Nico Medved, the Minnesota coach, kind of characterized it. He didn't put a lot of blame on him. He just said he's super competitive. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards dirty. We're going to give Jeremiah Fears the same hate we gave Grayson Allen.
Well, it's funny. You made the Draymond Green comparison. He went to college, right?
And Michigan State.
I guess they just breed him there. But as far as this matchup goes, I'm just going to call it for what it is. I'm very heavily leaning in the direction of the Illini. I mean, this is one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now. That they haven't lost in the calendar year 2026. I mean, they're starting five. Like it feels like Globo Gym if it were a college basketball team out there. I mean, Stoke Djokovic has been phenomenal. I mean, Wagner's been really good as well, and so that their offensive attack has been one of the most consistent in the nation, and they just jump on you fast. I mean, they absolutely dominated Northwestern the other night, 40-piece them, and ever since that Alabama loss, this team has just felt locked in on another level. And there's one Illinois game in particular a few weeks ago, and we were snowed in here in Texas. I watched it full length when they played Purdue.
Yeah.
And I was just impressed by how detailed they were. I mean, they were great at rebounding, great getting points in the paints. They're great at just winning the fundamental battles of the game, and I think that's what's going to be the difference maker on Saturday. I also think they just have more depth than Michigan State. Like I prefaced earlier, if Jeremiah Fears isn't on the court, I'm a little concerned about what Michigan State's going to be putting out there from an offensive point and how it's going to match up with the Illini. And so since that's an uncertainty right now, I'm leaning heavy Illinois to win this thing by the score of I'm going to go 83-72.
I'll tell you this right now: if Jeremiah Fears does not play, Michigan State will get beat by 20. You mentioned that they might be the hottest team in the country right now. I think they absolutely are. Obviously, wins over Purdue. They went on the road to Nebraska and won on Sunday. They have a ton of good wins, and that's why they've worked their way up to number 5 in the country with 3 losses on their resume, which is, I think, that is kind of telling of how the AP voters view them, and the NCAA tournament committee is going to view them the same way. They might have maybe the strongest resume outside of Arizona in the country, and maybe Michigan. But for me, this is what I've learned in college basketball. Everything that that believes you to lead, that leads you to believe a certain outcome is going to happen, throw it away.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when you go to East Lansing and you visit the Is Zone, you don't know what's coming at you. I recently saw Luka Garza. He said that that Michigan State gives one team a bad rim so that they shoot on it in the second half. Now, I'm not going to play these Luka Garza conspiracy theories, but I think that Michigan State is hungry. They've been kind of beat down a little bit. Obviously, the 2 losses they've suffered, all the drama surrounding them. And it leads me to believe that this is a perfect spot for them. This is a huge opportunity against a team that is really hitting their stride, that has a lot of big wins, that is up there at the top of the Big Ten standings. And for me, this just feels like a spot where Michigan State rights the ship. And I think they do it through their defense. As good as Illinois' offense is, it can go stagnant at times. Obviously, Keaton Wagler's been stellar, like you mentioned against Purdue. Dropped 46 points,
Yeah.
the most a player has dropped in Mackey Arena, an Illinois freshman scoring record. But I think that Michigan State has the capable defenders on the perimeter to slow him down. Obviously, Stojakovic, Merkovich, Humrikis, the Visic brothers. I mean, you have the Eastern European national team at Illinois, and it's just scary to match up against because they're all physical, they're all ginormous, and they're
I'm
all
saying
they're all elder, they're all old. I
it's
mean, it's
Globo
just
Gym.
that's it, exactly. I mean, I laughed at that because I sat there and I was like, that's a really good comparison. That is, they are basically Globo Gym. And an interesting fact about Illinois, Brad Underwood, his whole strategy, launch shots because we're gonna get more offensive rebounds than you will. Well, Michigan State's a pretty good defensive rebounding team, and I think that they're gonna come in there, they're gonna control the paint. I think they're gonna obviously now this all this analysis goes out of the way if Jeremiah Fears doesn't play because they're a disaster when Fears isn't on the court.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, Michigan State is going to come in here and they're going to just shock a lot of people, and it just feels like a perfect spot for them. And this is going to be a low scoring game. Illinois has the tendency to play low scoring games as well. They've had great offense over the past month, um, but they can be slowed down. And so I think that Michigan State does just enough to eke this one out. And it's going to remind me a lot of that time when they played Purdue, I believe in 20 I believe it was February 26, 2022. Top 6 teams in college basketball lost. Feels exactly like that spot. So I'm going to go Michigan State in a low scoring, gritty battle, 68-64. And I think that Illinois, you know, there's nothing to hang your heads about because you you got two of the biggest wins in the Big Ten, if not the two biggest wins in the Big Ten, outside of maybe Wisconsin's win on the road at Michigan. But you have two of the biggest wins in the Big Ten, and you're still a great team. And I just think that this is a bad spot for y'all.
Oh, I mean, you can't take away beating Purdue and Nebraska and the
Yeah.
same, and that's something that you always look at how those teams progress down the stretch. It's just like college football. How how do your wins age? How do your losses age? I feel like those wins are going to age well
Yeah.
for Illinois down the stretch. So, and if they win this game, this is just another bullet point on their already illustrious resume this season. And if they lose this game, it doesn't change the way I think of Illinois at all. I
Right.
definitely think that more of the pressure is on Michigan State coming off of that Minnesota loss, having this Jeremiah Fear stuff going on right now. Like this is a point in time where we've got to figure out what this team is made of. And so
If they lose this, we're gonna see a lot about their character.
yeah,
And if they lose this game, I'm gonna have a lot of we've already mentioned we have some concerns about them in March. But those concerns are those yellow flags are gonna turn into glaring red flags.
oh those concerns are very valid.
Yeah.
Oh
It starts with the outside shooting.
no, and which has been very wonky, very up and down this season. But we're conflicting here. I mean, I thought about taking your mental framework there and picking Michigan State. Went back and forth on it, but I have a tough time picking against that Illini squad. They really impress me.
Good. We can't agree on everything. We got to have some drama here.
We got to have some fun. It's the friction that makes it fun here.
Right.
Now, I wonder if we'll agree here. We've got Houston going up to Provo on Saturday night to take on BYU. BYU is on a little skid right now. Had the loss in Lawrence on Saturday. And then just last night, losing to Oklahoma State, who had an offensive masterclass, which has been Bonsa dropped 36, and it still wasn't enough to seal them that win last night. And I love the pairing of DeBonsa and Saunders. Like that, those two are such a great dynamic together. But I look at these two styles in this matchup here, and historically, when one is matched up against the other, one usually prevails. And it's the style of the Houston Cougars, which is more physical, which is more defensive, which is more predicated on going up, getting those rebounds, taking high percentage shots. BYU is a bit more of your risk-taking team. They're a bit more of your Ferrari-type finesse team. I feel like not as great defensively. We saw that with Kansas. We saw that with Oklahoma State. But they're going to score a lot on you.
Yeah.
But I do think that Houston is going to go in there, and I think that they're going to attack BYU in ways that they're not comfortable with. I think that they're going to bully them in the paints. I mean, I think Oklahoma State scored 52 points on BYU in the paint last night, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're going to bully them in the paint. I think they're going to out-rebound them. And I think they're just going to grind away on them all night. And I think Houston will ultimately win this game 83-77.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I do think Houston comes in there and pulls it out. My issue with BYU is kind of actually the personnel. While Saunders and DeBonsa are great, and I love Kebaketa, it's Kennard Davis, Rob Wright. It just doesn't feel like this team fits. A lot of these guys need the ball in their hands. I've compared them to the Brooklyn Nets Big Three era when it was Kyrie, Harden, and KD, and and sometimes they looked like they were incredible and they were world beaters and they couldn't be stopped. And then sometimes the ball just stuck. I think honestly, and I don't like to put this in my analysis or my predictions. I think it's going to come down to whether or not the refs let them play because Houston wants to be physical with you, and BYU is great at drawing fouls and getting to the line. If it's a game where we're calling touch fouls and it's going to be a free throw shooting competition, I'm going to lean towards BYU just because I think that they have a lot more guys that can create their own shot. Kingston Fleming is great at Houston. Joseph Tugler is by far he might be the best defensive college basketball player I've seen in for his pound for pound, inch for inch in college basketball in a long time. He does a lot of great stuff. Houston, great on the boards. And Kebaketa is a little undersized in the paint for BYU. I just struggle. I struggle to pick against this Houston team and Kelvin Sampson because I think, like you mentioned, you know what you're going to get with them. BYU is the Ferrari team. You know, it looks nice. It looks nice. It looks great. But sometimes it doesn't always work sometimes it doesn't always get the job done. You know, you got little problems in it. You know, the motor starts sputtering a little bit. You can't. You go a little too fast at times. You get yourself a ticket, and that's what BYU did against Oklahoma State. They can get sped up. This Houston defense can speed you up. There's probably nobody better in the country at speeding a team up than Houston. And BYU has a tendency to they just have lulls on offense where it's just turnover, late shot clock, bad shot, late shot clock, bad shot, turnover. And that's what we saw that happened to them a few weeks ago. And it, like in that crazy game that where they almost came back at the end of the game. But
against Arizona?
Yeah, like it was just like that one stretch that they had allowed Arizona to go on one of their kill shots. And if you're not careful, the Houston kill shot will be a 20-1 run. And so I look at Emmanuel Sharp. He hadn't been as great as I expected from him this year, but I just think that I'm with you right there. I think Houston goes in there and gets it done. I think they establish themselves early. But if it's going to be a game where there are a lot of touch fouls are being called, an Alabama-Vanderbilt-esque game, I like BYU to pull it out. If they let them play, Houston. If they let these guys play, Houston will win this game. I'm going to go with Houston to win this game. We actually have pretty similar score predictions as well. I'm going to go 86-78.
That's a great point that you make about the crew. It really depends on what kind of crew or kind of officiating crew you're going to get for this matchup. Because,
and I hate to put that in there, but it does.
No, that's valid. Well, I've never been a blame the refs guy. I hate that mentality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to how physical you can be, like that's so much of Houston's identity is hinged on that.
Yeah.
And especially playing a team like BYU that is like almost like if SGA were a team, like they're gonna bait you into getting fouls, like that's how they're gonna beat you over the head, and so it's really gonna come down to that. But my gut feeling, I have a tough time picking against Kelvin Sampson's Cougars in this game, so I'm gonna go Houston as well. But this is an elite slate that we have coming up.
Oh, it's a great week. And we've had some great slates already this year, but I'm very excited for this one as well.
especially lead up to Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, we're going out with a bang.
Yeah, Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Waste Management Phoenix Open. It's going to be a great sports weekend, brother. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a weekend where I struggle to leave my couch again. And like most weekends are, but
Yeah.
we gotta be grateful for it because we only got 2 months of this left, and then we gotta focus on the pro sports, and then it's baseball season.
Oh God, don't even mention the because then content's like getting blood from a stone. Like once you get past the NFL draft, good night, Irene. I mean, it's just gonna be this ranking of this and this ranking of that and this like throwback to this and like
Yeah. Let's rank where we think all these college teams are gonna be in week one with 35 different transfers on their roster.
and let me tell you, I don't even think I'm gonna do that this year. I'm gonna be straight with you. Like I don't know if you remember the Clemson video I made after they lost to Syracuse in basketball or in football a few months ago. But I said it like I really don't know if I'll ever do a preseason like top 25 or top 10 again because I looked like an ass clown last year, like between
Hey, man.
Clemson and South Carolina and just all Florida, all these teams just rammed it up my ass. Like I just no.
You can't let the current day and age of college football get your confidence down because you weren't alone. I don't think anybody had Indiana, Miami in there as their national championship preseason. So
I mean, we had Miami at like 9-3, and then like Indiana, same thing. I think we
uh,
literally had like the same record predictions for them.
we weren't far off with Miami being 9-3 though. They went 10-2.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And then if that Notre Dame game went the other way, then
Yeah, we weren't far
that's
off.
good. That's a good point. It was a very marginal season for the Canes, but they got a good thing cooking there. I'm looking forward to talking about them in these months to come.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to watch these college basketball games. I think we agreed on three.
Yeah.
And that Illinois Michigan State game will be the deciding factor for us. It seems. I don't know if I like the fact that I'm going up against the Illini, and that I have mini Draymond to watch and hope for. So
Fingers crossed he's on the floor for you.
if he's not, I'm putting it out there right now. If Jeremiah Fears doesn't play, it's 80-55 Illinois.
I'll build in a mulligan for you here. I usually don't like to do that, but I'll bake in a mulligan for you.
I'm putting it out there right now. And also Miami Redhawks. They're going to beat Michigan State in March. We're calling it right now.
That's something about that just feels right. The Midwest team knocking off the other Midwest team, like it just feels poetic.
How are you wearing green? You're not going to pick Michigan State. Go green.
The shirt might be green, but my mind isn't leaning green tonight. My mind is leaning blue and orange. I should have actually. Oh my God! I was supposed to change. I've had a crazy night, but I was supposed to wear my Rutgers shirt tonight, and I didn't.
Well, Rutgers is having. I don't think anybody wants to rep Rutgers right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Shout out to Zeke Wager for getting me that shirt. By the way, that was his Christmas gift to me. Is a fucking Rutgers shirt.
Oh my gosh. Zeke, you still owe me something for that Ohio State national championship bet. I can't remember what it was, but should have written it down.
That's right. Pay up, pal.
I think it was strip naked or something.
Oh my God, I'm gonna tax him after this. He's got to get this done. We got to.
I want to say he'd run naked around somewhere, around like the town square or something. I can't remember what it was, but
up and down Tillinghast Avenue.
I think that's what he said, something like that.
All right, I'm gonna text him when we get off here, and he's gonna have to follow through because we follow through with bets on the air. Damn it.
That's right.
But thank you all for watching. Enjoy this slate of games. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Thursday.